Alright editors, inventions are at the end of the script. Ever seen some crazy inventions you're left shocked and surprised? Well, in the Victorian era, everything was up for experimentation, especially since this was the era of industrialization. With technology enhancing and the gears went on turning, folks in this era decided to put on their thinking caps and see if they got what it takes to be the incredible inventor, or the next incredible inventor. But what do you guys think? Hi, my name is Jessa. Let's look together the top 10 bizarre inventions from the Victorian era you never knew. Number 10. Fork scissors. I don't know, I mean, this seems like a pretty functional whatever it is, but the rise of suburban life and dinner party hosting clearly influenced this knife and fork combination tool. But in all honesty, there are cultures that actually use scissors to cut their meat to make it easier to have smaller bites, like in South Korea. But this tool looks pretty wild to look at, with one side being a fork and the other side being a knife. In some way, you can cut your meals and use the same utensil to pick it up, almost like a surgical tool, but as a function for eating meals. I can see how during a dinner party you want to show it off, especially to your in-laws, how advanced and cool you are. I kinda want it. Number 9. The pneumatic railway. Getting to something big here, and that would be the pneumatic railway. The era in general was a hotbed of invention around the world, especially in America and Europe, and for this invention it was to convey letters along tunnels in a large vacuum-driven wagon. It operated for just over 2 months and may have been a demonstration line for more substantial atmospheric railway planned between Waterloo and Whitehall, a construction of which started under the Thames but was actually never completed. It has also apparently been rumored that the site of the railway is haunted, a popular urban legend of the 1930s partially connected with stories surrounding Crystal Palace railway station. In 1978, a woman claimed to have found the tunnel to have been seen it, a old railway carriage filled with skeletons in Victorian outfits. Haunted or no, at least they tried to see if it would work, and I mean it didn't, but at least they tried. Number 8. The exploding organ. I don't know what the use of this invention was, but in some Phantom of the Opera imagery, George Eugene Frederick Kastner wanted the organ to be more dramatic, so he made the design an organ that blew out fire from its windpipes instead of, well, wind. I swear in The Simpsons they had an episode where someone was playing this exact organ. Or was it Family Guy? I don't know. But you know what would be funny, by some comedic effect, imagine they were going to show this invention off, but they didn't tell anyone the pipes were going to blast fire, so they thought, hey, you know what would be the best place to show off our new cool invention? In a church, during a funeral. So they would blast the organ during a very important part of the sermon, just to scare everyone. Again, this didn't happen, I'm just saying it would be funny if that happened. I have no idea why he wanted to have the pipes blast fire though, I think he was just bored. But according to his design notes and his patent, it is well known that if a flame of hydrogen gas be introduced within a glass or other tube, and if it is placed as to be capable of vibrating, there is a formed around this flame, as to say, upon the whole of its enveloping surfaces, and as atmosphere of hydrogen gas, which in uniting the oxygen in the air of tubes burns in small portions, each composed of 2 parts of hydrogen to 1 oxygen. The combustion of this mixture of gases produced a series of slight explosion or detonation. This is in his notes, explaining why this needs to exist. Number 7. Electric corset. I thought this was one of those corsets like shapewear, but apparently the electric corset was used to help women with a weak back, chills, and rheumatism. Created by a man named Cornelius Bennett Harness, he is said that every married man should buy his beautiful wife a electric corset, and in the ad it says the appearance of these corsets do not differ from those that are usually worn, being made of the same material, in parentheses best quality, in the latest style and most approved shapes. They are in fact the very best thing for ladies, young or old, especially those with a weak back and chills, rheumatism, and even hysteria. It also helps with internal complaints, or complaints in general, loss of appetite, nervous dyspepsia, kidney disorders, and so much more. I mean, if a corset can do all that, then sign me up. The electric corset was magnetic rather than electric because it all had magnetized steel busk in the plates at the front that attached together to fasten the corset. The articles and the selling of this corset ended up being a flop anyway, as it resulted in a lot of customers demanding their money back. Even at one point they got arrested because it was a scam and the jury couldn't make a formal decision about Harness. The courts ordered the company that he would, wound up bankrupt, and almost immediately Harness tried to resurrect the corset company, and Medical Electric Institute was allowed to do so on the condition that it was under control of a qualified medic, ensuring that the corset actually works. It didn't end up working though, because his reputation as a shady man was already out in the open. Number 6. Exercise chair. I've seen those weird inventions on infomercials like the shake weight, the sauna suit, or the vibro belt. Well, in the Victorian era they too didn't want to work out normally and wanted to cut the exercise to less work, so they made the exercise chair. It was basically like a swing with springs you just sit on and just bounce. Kinda like a baby bouncer machine to make babies get used to their feet. But this machine was to force you to just sit and bounce. I don't know, I mean it just seems lazy. But every person's fitness journey is unique to them, so maybe it'll help jump start it for you. Or sit start it. Or bounce start it. I don't know. You know what I mean. But in some good intentions, the invention was actually helpful to those who were disabled and helped them to get exercise. Maybe the chair should come back. Number 5. Electric hairbrush. If you got long hair, this would intrigue you until the motor stops running and you're stuck on the machine trying to yank your hair out. Brushing one's hair is a tedious task, especially if it's long, and I would know. But for the Victorians, they always wanted to find a way to make things easier, so they made this electric hairbrush actually powered by magnets. They were actually marketed at Victorians who feared that they were going bald. It was also claimed that they could cure constipation, malaria, lameness, rheumatism, again, blood diseases, and paralysis. I don't know if a hairbrush can do that, but good luck. Number 4. The grenade fire extinguisher. Of course, fire was a scary notion in the Victorian era as it was very prevalent and difficult to reduce as they had many great fires that affected large portions of towns and cities. So they thought, hey, if we can't get to the rest of the areas at once, why don't we just toss a grenade fire extinguisher over. This fire extinguisher was designed to be thrown like a grenade, and it was even patented in 1883. However, the glass bottle contained poison toxic liquids which could enter the body and damage the lungs, kidneys, and liver. So you could toss it, but just stay away from it. In the end though, this invention turned out to be a big flop. Although the concept was nice, it really didn't do much. Number 3. Air-conditioned top hat. It can be very hot in the summer even if you want to look fashionable. It can be tough when your outfit is drenched in sweat. So in order to avail from getting sweaty, try the new air-conditioning top hat. This wonderful and very underachieved invention is the bona fide ventilated top hat as advertised by John Fuller and Company in 1849. The bona fide ventilating hat would have allowed men to wear hats without overheating. It had a vent at the top of the hat and basically would help circulate air into the man's head while still wearing the hat. I mean, it was a very moderate trend like every other trend we see, but it didn't last long as trends die out hard. Number 2. The Garrote-Proof Collar. At first I thought this was a dog collar, and that's exactly what it is, a collar, but not for your dog, for you. But why would you need one? Unless it's for other things. Wink wink. But if it's not, it was because getting strangled was very common as well in the 1800s. So what else is more strangle-proof than a Garrote-proof collar? This design was for anti-garroting cravat, or anti-strangling, which could be worn underneath the collar. The fact that they had to make an invention just to prevent people from getting strangled is saying a lot. The question is, did it work? Number 1. Artificial leech. With great medical care, you can guarantee your doctor will get you the best leeches to help you get rid of that bad blood causing you to get sick. But because leeches were actually hard to come by and it was actually a occupation for someone to get said leeches to sell to doctors, the profession in itself was getting expensive as well. So the artificial leech was created. During the Victorian era, scientific and medical research boomed as doctors experimented with all kinds of cures and treatments. According to researchers of this era, using leeches for bloodletting proved so popular that it led to a shortage of the worms. And so this artificial leech was used to stimulate the similar effects of extracting said bad blood out, which to be honest may actually work for some treatments. After all, bloodletting is still used today in the treatments of few diseases including hemochromatosis and polycythemia. Even its practice, it's specifically trained by practitioners in hospitals using techniques also known as therapeutic phlebotomy. Well, that's all for today. What's one invention on this list you kind of want to see revamped in modern era? Do you think it's actually worth it? I don't know. Personally, the air conditioning top hat is a look and I kind of want it. Anyways, my name is Jessa. Thank you for joining. Be sure to like and subscribe, and who knows, maybe I'll invent something cool. I don't know. Bye.